This week, calling for vaccine and mask mandates. Oglethorpe County reinstates a property tax. Find out why they canceled it last year. The Madison County Jail launches a program to help inmates with their lives after prison. All that and more coming up on Grady Newsource. Welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Megan Middlehammer, reporting live in the studio from Athens. Tonight, we're talking about a vaccine and mask mandate protest on the University of Georgia's campus, and we are about to go live to Shaylin Carroll, who is outside of the Tate Student Center, to discuss what has happened this week.
Madison County Jail hosts a new inmate program called Pathway to Achieve.
I'm here at the Northwest Lawn outside Tate Student Center, where, as you can see, a pretty sizable group has gathered to protest USG policies not allowing campuses to make their own decisions regarding mask and vaccine mandates. Today is the third day of protests here at the University of Georgia as a part of a string of protests at USG campuses statewide.
We are the University of Georgia! Yeah!
There have been around 80 to 100 people in attendance at each of the pro-mandate protests this week. While protest organizers consider this a success, they still haven't gotten a response from the USG Board of Regents.
The Board of Regents is holding firmly to the line that they are there to do the bidding of the governor, which is actually in direct violation of what their charter says that they're supposed to do. They are supposed to be a politically independent body, and their lack of response shows that they are not listening to their faculty, not listening to their students, and not listening to science.
The Franklin Faculty Senate is also working hard to make changes on UGA's campus. They have issued a proclamation condemning the Board of Regents' lack of action.
So we have a duty of care to our students, to our staff, to our faculty, but also to our surrounding community, which depends on us to do the right thing.
Protests will continue Thursday and Friday. Athens Mayor Kelly Gertz will be speaking at the protest tomorrow at 1 p.m. There was a counter-protest here on Monday advocating against mandates on Georgia campuses. There was one person from the opposition here today, but the Moms for Liberty say they will be back here again in full force this Friday at 2 p.m. This has been Shaylin Carroll for Grady Newsource.
UGA COVID-19 numbers have dropped this week. 164 cases were reported from September 6th through September 12th, which is a decrease of 350 cases from the previous week. Currently, 15,183 people have been vaxxed by UGA, and 17,447 vaccinations are still on hand. The Madison County Jail recently launched a program to help inmates adjust to life once they're released from prison. Grady Newsource reporter Michelle Ortiz tells us participation is higher than expected.
Madison County Jail hosts a new inmate program called Pathway to Achieve. The program offers classes with topics involving anger management, languages, behavioral therapy, and much more. It is also a preset tool that prepares them to take the General Education Development exam when they are out.
We have, like I said, we've had a great number that's participated in it, and they seem enthused about it, and it seems to really be working well.
Transitioning back into society is a difficult progress. When out, inmates face issues like finding housing and employment. However, research indicates that inmates who participate in correctional education programs like the Pathway to Achieve are 43% less likely to re-enter prison. So far, inmates have completed a total close to 3,000 hours in the program and have earned a total over 200,000 courses.
The Barrow County Sheriff's Office is continuing to search for Jessica Worsham after she was last seen yesterday, September 14th. She was last seen driving her 2005 Chevrolet Malibu with her 2 children, but the children's whereabouts are still unclear. If you have any information on her location, please contact the Barrow County Sheriff's Office. The pandemic placed a heavy financial burden on people across Northeast Georgia. Oglethorpe County lowered its 2020 millage rates to help ease that burden. Grady Newsource reporter Nikki Schatz explains how the Board of Commissioners brought it back for 2021.
It was really great with them getting rid of it because it really took off some burden for everyone in the county going through Corona last year, and it was really great. I wish they would do it again.
But this year, the Board of Commissioners reinstated these rates for 2021. Annually, each county's Board of Commissioners set millage rates to assess how much property owners owe in these taxes.
We made a decision last year because we had a lot of money in our operating funds and things to not collect property taxes.
Because the rates in unincorporated areas dropped to zero last year, it seems like there's a large percentage increase on property taxes in Oglethorpe County. However, these rates are approximately the same as they were pre-pandemic in 2019. The board moved to raise the 2021 rates to 7.687 mils for homes in unincorporated areas. Nikki Schatz, Grady Newsource.
For the first time, Oglethorpe County schools are working with the International Student Exchange. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Ware tells us how the county is hosting students during a pandemic.
Will now be fined $100 for speeding from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on school days. With some speeders going as fast as 40 miles over the speed limit, the Sheriff's Department hopes to deter this behavior. Sheriff Judd Smith explains the harm speeders have caused in school zones.
We've had 3 different instances where pedestrians, kids have been hit within the school zones, and so that was one of the reasons we kind of pushed it.
This initiative uses a photo enforcement system to ticket individuals driving 11 miles over the posted speed limit 1 hour before and 1 hour after school. In compliance with the Georgia House Bill 978, the Department of Transportation can deny registration renewals for people with unpaid speed violations in school zones, ensuring people pay. In the first week of the warning period, tickets were displaying the wrong times or address, but the Sheriff's Office has fixed these issues and has not had any more complications. Kelly Still, a parent of a student at Heyman Morris Middle School, is grateful for the improved safety, but is concerned about the accuracy of the cameras.
They need to be more, or explain more on, to make sure if a vehicle is speeding, they do get the correct vehicle.
Other community members are less supportive and are convinced this is a way for the Sheriff's Office to make a quick buck. Sheriff Judd Smith reassures the money is going right back to the school.
You want to speed in a school zone, you're going to pay for the schools to be safer. That's the initiative.
Yeah. The Sheriff's Office is seeing a 60% decrease in speeding vehicles since August 3rd and hopes this trend continues. I'm Allison Casso with Grady Newsource.
Typically, the International Student Exchange, or ISE, works with counties closer to major metropolitan areas, but many school boards voted against hosting students this year because of COVID. So, ISE expanded to working with more rural counties like Oglethorpe. Jenny Fiesel is the regional manager for Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and South Carolina for the International Student Exchange.
As the silver lining of this pandemic, has happened, we've met new people and new communities, and our exchange students have new opportunities that we didn't reach out to before.
This is the first year ISE has worked with Oglethorpe County. They are currently hosting 3 international students from Spain and Italy, with one of them still in search of a permanent placement home. ISE as a whole is hosting more students than ever before, as many deferred their year abroad from 2019 until now. Tiffany McGuire is the ISE area representative for Oglethorpe County and host mom to 2 students this year. She says that more people are qualified to be host parents than you may expect, including people without kids close to the age of the exchange student or even those without kids at home.
I mean, we have success with a variety of, different types of families. And so I think that would be my biggest stress to, get out there as far as opening up the opportunity to any families, that do want to host.
There's still an opportunity to serve as a host family in Oglethorpe County. Maria is a high school sophomore from Spain, currently in need of a permanent placement home. If you are interested in more information about being a host parent, please contact ISE Regional Manager Jenny Fiesel at 404-310-4118.
Coming up, Barrow County navigates a substitute teacher shortage, and Oconee County conducts road surveying for cracks and potholes. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
on a deeper level. Father,
Cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Barrow County is partnering with educational staffing services to fix their substitute teacher shortage. Cindy Beggs, Superintendent of Planning and Personnel, requested Barrow County school system move from Kelly Services to ESS following a 20% decline in substitute fill rates from the 2020 school year under Kelly Services. The partnership with ESS went into effect on September 7th as they work to fill important positions this school year. Oconee commissioners are discussing how to allocate money from a potential new transportation tax, or T-SPLOST. Grady Newsource reporter Sam Perez has the story on a new guest in town that's helping with road paving.
Lights flash behind David McGee as he begins his 390-mile journey surveying roads here in Oconee County.
This is the county map.
McGee is an operator with consulting firm Infrastructure Management Services, or IMS. He is traveling through the county in a van equipped with state-of-the-art lasers to analyze road conditions.
We have alligator crack. I collect all the data that is on the cement and concrete to make sure that we rate it from 0 to 100 per road. That way the county or the city knows what needs to be repaired and how severe it is.
McGee says he and his coworker are on the road for 8 to 10 hours a day. County Administrator Justin Kerouac says the County Commission decided to bring in IMS to serve Oconee County residents.
There's still complaints about how we want to pave the road. This is really taking all the decision making out of it. It's just, here's how much you can do, here's how much you can afford, and here's the list.
The van utilizes lasers to map out abnormalities in the road, like cracks and potholes. The results will be used to help with the T-SPLOST, which is essentially a transportation tax. If it passes in November, the county will have money that can be put toward road paving.
So the idea is we would have a objective road rating standard that we could roll out as part of the whole thing.
The Transportation Local Option Sales Tax, or T-SPLOST, is a sales tax of up to 1% used exclusively for funding transportation purposes. Oconee County has identified 4 categories of projects for the proposed T-SPLOST: safety and operational improvements, trails, general fund project offset, and repaving. Kerouac says the county has a lot of work to do.
We need to be paving probably 25 miles a year of road. We're probably paving 8. This is an opportunity for us to really get on a more proactive, measured approach to things.
McGee is helping make that approach possible. When it comes to residents' responsibilities during the survey process, he says it's business as usual.
We don't want them to veer off or do anything dangerous. We're not an emergency vehicle. Just, give us as much space as needed, 20 feet from behind. And we have flashing lights, and it gives you a signal, gives you an alert that we're in the area and that we need to cover this road. So business as usual.
While the truck moves slowly, McGee says residents can easily and safely move around. The Oconee County Commission will use the results from the IMS road survey to determine how exactly to allocate funds in November. For Grady Newsource, I'm Sam Perez.
Oconee County Commissioners met with residents at the Oconee County Civic Center for a town hall last night. They discussed road safety and improvements. Commissioners gave progress updates on various projects to be completed by 2024. Residents can expect new roundabouts on Highway 53 at Snows Mill Road and Rocky Branch Road, an updated bridge on Clotvelter Road, and a new bridge connecting High Shoals and North High Shoals to all be completed in the next 3 years. Also, the Commission said construction should begin soon to widen Experiment Station Road. Residents in Oglethorpe County are divided about whether speed limits are too strict. Grady Newsource reporter Samantha Spinacci shares how speed limits are affecting the county.
This conversation originally sparked in a Facebook group in 2019 when the Sheriff's Department submitted a permit to decrease speed limits for several roads throughout the county. Longtime resident and county commissioner Tracy Norman says that people are upset because the sheriff before Gabriel didn't enforce any speed limits.
The former sheriff never wrote speeding tickets. I think some people are kind of like, well, why are they all of a sudden writing tickets? And it's like, well, if you'll notice, we don't have people getting killed on the roads anymore.
Some residents agree with Tracy, feeling that the speed limit decrease has allowed for safer roads. The updated permit has cut this year's accidents in half, and since Gabriel became sheriff in 2017, the total accidents have decreased each year except for the year 2020. Sheriff David Gabriel said the original reason for placing the limit request was because many of the roads were unmarked or not marked correctly, hindering them from doing their job.
We want you to slow down, not write the ticket, but you have to kind of put the show on so folks can get word of mouth out there.
Gabriel also mentions that the Sheriff's Department does not make up the speed limits. The limits are created by a traffic study done by traffic engineers.
He looks at how many driveways there are, how the width of the road, any type of incline or sight distance, and a lot of different things. If you have a road that's the same width, but you got 15 driveways on it, they're going to have a lower speed limit than a road that has no driveways.
Gabriel mentioned that this is important in rural counties due to potential obstacles that can enter the roadways. Since the updated permit request, all affected speed limits have been updated throughout the county. The Sheriff's Department, along with the GOT, will continue to monitor roads until the new permit expires. This has been Samantha Spinacci, Grady Newsource.
Coming up, Davis Baker gives us a look at Georgia football's quarterback situation, as well as a special tribute before this weekend's game.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
And now, sports.
Welcome back to Grady Newsource, everyone. I'm Davis Baker with your sports update. The number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs are preparing for their SEC opener this weekend against South Carolina at Sanford Stadium. The biggest question for the Bulldogs, though, who's going to start at quarterback? Georgia head coach Kirby Smart gave an update last night.
JT feels much better. He's continued to improve. I think he's better now than he was on Saturday. I don't know that he's 100%, but he's certainly getting closer to that. Stetson is repping, JT's repping, and Carson's repping. So Stetson's actually got some lower back issues that he strained some stuff, but he's able to go. But I don't know if he's 100%. He's been dinged up. since Monday morning, but he went out and practiced as well.
Regardless of whether it's JT Daniels or Stetson Bennett getting the start, Vegas likes Georgia's chances. The Dogs are currently 32-point favorites. Of course, the last time the Gamecocks visited Athens, they spoiled Georgia's chance at perfection, giving the Bulldogs their only loss in the 2019 regular season. Veteran players like Trayvon Walker remember that game and are trying to avoid letting something like that happen again.
Yeah, that is in the past, but that still lingers up in the air for me because I was on the team at the time. And we don't want anything like that to happen again, so we're just going to go out there and play our best ball.
Switching over now to a special celebration off the field. On Saturday before the game, the athletic department will recognize the 50th anniversary of the integration of the football program. The first 5 black freshmen came into the program together in 1971 and will also have a monument unveiled in Reed Plaza next to the stadium.
I applaud the university, especially the athletic department, for thinking in terms of lifting up something that is historical and something that has made a significant impact as far as UGA athletics is concerned.
Students in the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication have produced a documentary called The First 5, detailing the players' experience. The film and other information on the First 5 will soon be available for viewing on the Georgia Athletics website as well as on the Grady College YouTube channel. Again, I'm Davis Baker, and this has been your look at sports. After the break, we'll have weather, including the projected weather for Saturday's game with Alyssa McDaniel.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school.
Jessica has been through a lot in her life from early childhood.
My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She came in looking to complete her diploma. As she had a family she had to take care of. Anytime she needed help, we provided her help. She realized that we were here for her.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
My graduation, it was something I will never forget. I couldn't explain the emotion I was feeling because people like you and me sometimes may have doubts in ourselves, but I feel that everything's possible.
Jessica's future is brighter than ever.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason. Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please. I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back to Grady Newsource. Weather anchor Alyssa McDaniel has your weather for the rest of this week.
And now, the weather.
Hello, welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Michelle Ortiz, your weather anchor this evening. Today's forecast is sunny with a high of 90 degrees, and tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 66. Moving into tomorrow, we can expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 87 and a low of 68. Starting Wednesday, we will start seeing chances of showers and thunderstorms. There is a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly after 2 p.m. on Wednesday. There will be a high of 85 and a low of 68 with mostly sunny skies. Thursday will have a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high of 86 and a low around 69. Finally, Friday is forecasted to have another 40% chance of showers, thunderstorms, and expect a high of 86 and a low of 70. I'm Michelle Ortiz with Grady Newsource.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted.
My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to Ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
An Oconee County school unveiled its new book vending machine, and students are excited. Grady Newsource reporter Emma Robinson is here to tell us about this innovative way to get students to read.
Judy B. Jones, Flat Stanley, and Geronimo Stilton. These are just a few of the children's favorites found on the shelves of Column Ferry Elementary School's new book vending machine. Column Ferry unveiled Inchie's Bookworm vending machine as a creative way to motivate reading among students on September 8th. And in its first week alone, this educational gadget is turning the Column Ferry Mustangs into dedicated bookworms.
And all of the students are buzzing with excitement. They're all talking about the books that they're going to choose.
The vending machine was made possible with the help of a Walton EMC School Empowerment Grant with the purpose of enhancing students' learning experiences.
And this particular grant for the vending machine was over $4,000. So we're very, very excited.
To use the machine, students must insert gold tokens earned through Column Ferry's Positive Behavioral Support and Intervention System, or PBIS. When demonstrating good behavior, students receive horseshoe points, which can then be exchanged for rewards like ice cream, stuffed animals, or best of all, a take-home book from the vending machine.
When they are showing those expected behaviors, they get the opportunity to be rewarded. So when they're showing respect on the playground or in the lunchroom.
Column Ferry strives to instill motivation, safety, and respect among its community, and with the book vending machine, the school hopes reading will play a part in establishing these core values.
Seeing their faces when they know that that's their book and that they've earned it, and they chose the topic, they chose the title. It's just priceless, and that's what education's all about.
Emma Robinson, Grady Newsource.
Thank you for joining us for Grady Newsource. I'm Megan Middlehammer. Have a good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism
Great job,
and Mass
ladies.
Communication at
Thank
the
you for all the
University of
help.
Georgia, which is solely
Couldn't have done it
responsible
without
for its
either of you.
contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college.
Yeah, like be adaptable. Even
Learn
in your
new
classes
instruments.
Now, like prep for that. If
Start
something goes wrong,
skateboarding.
like, already know how you're gonna do it.
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
Will you graduate?
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Where is my anchor? An anchor who was as cool as a cucumber. The prompter was not refreshed. One of the reasons is how we can avoid this is by the anchor being there early, so that the anchor can test the prompter with the floor director and make sure that the prompter is in the right place. And we don't have what happened today. The prompter was not refreshed. So you might have noticed that she tried her best heroically to ad-lib, and she said that we were live, and that upset me, but because we weren't live, we were doing a look live, but she did her best to, out of memory. And
So are we not live on like a station?
you toss to and joins us live. Yeah, look live, and so we don't say it, even though it looks like she's live. We don't say that. But again, you heroically ad-libbed your best. You didn't know, and I'm really, really impressed. Have you anchored before, Megan? You guys are incredible. He's never anchored. Tyler did an awesome job. The automatic. Again, Sam, the automatic timer did not work, so he and I were like, okay, we did the manual, low-tech, and somehow we figured it out. We were 1 minute light, but that is okay. We don't want to be 1 minute heavy because that creates a problem. So, where do I begin? So, I think you guys all did a wonderful job. Again, a lot of you are at different levels in their editing and their visuals. I will look at I don't want to do any specific critique of packages until I've watched the whole show, and I'll take some notes, and what we can do on Monday is just go very quickly through it so that I find the teachable moments, we can talk about them. There were a few packages where we looked at documents forever. There was no headroom in the stand-up. Always you have to have a little bit of headroom. We will go through things not to embarrass you on Monday, but to move forward. Everybody tried very, very hard today. I need the sports and weather. When you're doing sports and weather, it's very important to stick to the time. With sports being one variant 2:30 and the other 2, it really tripped us up, because the reason why we want a 1 minute and a 2 minute is that it helps us time our show. So when we were heavy, I told Tyler, well, you can, because he was like, what am I supposed to cut? And I said, well, you will play the 1 minute sport. And he said, I don't have one. And I said, but why? And he told me that you had provided him with a 2.5 and 2 minute sports. I just want to explain, moving forward, don't feel bad about it, but to explain why it's really important to stick to the time that you're given with sports and weather. Because then we have a problem with some door issues here. So because then we have a problem with timing the show, and we rely on having those 2 variations for that reason. So that's why, please, when you're doing weather, when you're doing sports, when you're doing packaging, when the producer tells you, I want a minute and package, if your package is 1 minute and 45, he needs to know, because he's timing his show, and that's really tough. As Sam will tell you, that is a very tough thing to do on live air. So there were 2 outstanding packages with visuals. One of them was, of course, Sam P's, and the other one was Emma's. Was just a wonderful way to, where's Emma? Yeah, darling, wonderful. I mean, we saw those books falling off in the vending machine. So interesting. And guys, you saw the power of close-ups in what did you watch her package? And the same with Samantha's package, which we watched and critiqued during training. This was a new one, which was really wonderful, and really shows you when you have a variation of shots, even though she kept showing the same vending machine, it was so interesting, because she'd taken the shots from different angles, medium shots. There were certain packages where the video was shaky, so always try to have a tripod with you, or keep your hands close to your body just to stabilize you. That's another way. If you don't have one, you could still stabilize yourself if you're working with your iPhone. These are little manual kind of homespun things to do, but usually it's good to have a tripod. Again, just be careful about the audio. Check and double check your audio levels. Slow down. Some of you were reading really fast because they wanted the package to be 1:30 when they were asked 1 minute. It doesn't, the viewer cannot keep up with you, so all your hard work is, it's better to cut the script or come to me and say, let's see how we can cut the script, instead of reading at such a speed that you're barely understandable. People can barely keep up with you. So, but we'll work on all these things. Yeah, so I want to hear from our producer, Tyler. What were the challenges what were the things you learned? What were the things we did well, we can do differently? Do you have a mic? We're not hearing you if you don't have a... Can you grab a mic? Yeah.
It's on now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
How about now? Okay.
Thank you.
But no,
Nikki.
everyone did an amazing job with just communicating with me through Slack, keeping your stories at like a good time. I just hate I wasn't able to present everyone's stories because we were kind of short on time. But no, other than that, like everyone did a great job.
And what is your biggest takeaway? What did you learn today? This is your first time producing.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's so hard to say because it's just been so many things. I would just say teamwork. I know it sounds corny, but yeah, teamwork.
It's okay. Can we turn down? We're hearing each other back because can we turn down the volume? Thank you, darling. Yeah, now you guys were taking notes. Who wants to share something they noticed, something we can do differently? Can you take the mic, darling? Yeah, so we can.
I think the only thing was that a few of the packages got played at the wrong time, so it was a little awkward when Megan was cutting to someone and then another package got played, so it wasn't that the actual person in the package, being talked about. But besides that, I think it went really well.
Yeah, and we also ran the wrong weather.
Yes.
Because the weather was not playing, and somehow we played the Monday's weather. Well, it was close. Today is Wednesday, but we'll figure these things out. And yeah, so something happened. So sorry, darling, you didn't get, your hard work didn't get noticed. Okay, so I'd like to ask Megan, do you want our anchor, if you can pass on, do you want to say we put our anchors through incredible tests with Alyssa during mock show. Megan, you were really impressive and very composed. No matter what we threw at you, you're very composed, and now you understand. I kept saying, please.
Yes, definitely. I'll print all of them every single time.
Yes, and you were really very smooth. You, even when it failed you, you just kind of looked down and you continued reading your script. And so share with us some.
I think, well, I was telling the teleprompter and producer in with me, like just being adaptable, I feel like we can all kind of relate from, but even like just sitting in the chair, like everybody here is kind of running around, moving around, but like I'm kind of stuck in that chair, but like, okay, there's nothing I can do. Like, how am I going to adapt and like make sure that we still have a good show and I'm still as professional as I can be? So we were talking with the control room and just figuring out like, okay, I don't have this script. Well, let me remember what I talked to Riley about in her package 2 minutes before I went on and jot down a few notes that I can kind of say. So really making sure that you have an idea of every single story on that rundown so that if you're screwed last minute, you have one or two things you can remember off the top of your head to pull from. That was one thing. And then the second thing is like always be in contact with whoever the producer is. I feel like Tyler and I got on the phone this morning. We kind of had a good idea of what was just happening, and then we checked in kind of throughout the day. I will say once we get like some technical stuff, like I know the lower thirds and downloading stuff, everybody's still having trouble. Once we do that, the Grady Daily is very quick to produce. So like I wasn't able to put some B-roll in for my voiceovers, so I had to make like a last minute change. So again, being adaptable, but like just knowing that you can get it all done even if you're flailing, and like asking everyone for help. Like if you're a news gatherer, like you probably have 5 free minutes to go help somebody like print their script. So shout out to Sam who tried to print some for me.
Thank you, Sam, for doing that.
So yeah, and then like just going to whoever did the position before you and like learning all you can in a short amount of time.
Well, Professor Shumway just emailed me the lower thirds again, 2 attachments that I will email to you guys with explanations how to use them. So we hope to get those lower thirds figured out. I will email that to you guys. So look for that email. Speaking of lower thirds, I know we had a problem with the lower third that just wouldn't move from the center of the screen, but there were other lower thirds that were in the right place, but they were covering half of the person's face because the shot was too close of the person. So always think when you are zooming with someone, imagine that you'll have to have a lower third under their chin. So ask them to scoot away from the computer, or to kind of sort of frame the shot, because otherwise it looks really odd. So be careful with that. And when you're doing a stand-up, make sure that you have enough headroom. And I know that's hard because you're alone, but the way to do it is just to put yourself on selfie mode and check it out, how you look, or you're framed in that stand-up. Or once you record your stand-up, check your video. Make sure that you have a good stand-up with some headroom. And our digital producer, Wyman, pick the mic and tell us how we did.
I don't think it's on. It is? Oh, okay. So for digital producing today, y'all did a really good job of basically getting all the content I needed, and then helping me just being like, hey, is this what I'm posting accurate? Does it look right? And y'all helped me and Professor Bright update the articles that needed to be updated. And yeah, I mean, y'all did a good job. Y'all pretty much, when I reached out to like whoever I posted this morning, I got a response back in like 10, 15 minutes. I was surprised. So good job on just keeping up with me and making me not have to stress out about, hey, I need this information or I need this content by this time. So y'all did a really good job in just timeliness. And yeah, the posts were great. I think they encapsulated a lot. Shaylin's was very complex, but I was able to find a way to integrate it onto Twitter that somewhat gave people the points they really needed, or what a social media person would want. So yeah, good job, y'all.
And Shaylin, would you like to share a few thoughts? You did our lead story. You did such an excellent job. Just things that you learned, things.
Yeah, I mean, today was kind of repeat of Monday. My biggest, I guess, struggle for today was figuring out how to tell a story that went along with the first story that I told without repeating too much, because the protests were they were the same protests, but kind of just finding new angles on that, revisiting one of the people that I talked to in the previous package, finding someone new to talk to too, so that it wasn't all the same people. And yeah, kind of just getting out there and making sure to get enough B-roll in the short amount of time that the protest was happening. I did have issues. I really did want to talk to someone from the Board of Regents today, and I called a bunch of people. They kept giving me phone numbers for other people, and I still never heard back from them.
It's important you tried, and
yeah.
I know how hard you tried.
It is what it is.
Yes.
But yeah.
It was excellent. It was excellent. And did you do several variations of your stand-up for the Look Live? How did that work?
I was kind of trying to hurry to do the Look Live before, because that was part of the struggle too, is they were trying to keep the protest to only 30 minutes long. So I only had those 30 minutes to get B-roll and to film my Look Live if I wanted them in the background still. So I kind of had the one script and kind of did
I had like 3 takes just to make sure that I had one that worked.
Yeah, because you and I talked about, you know, if you weren't sure of some information, you were going to confirm it, that you can always do several variations of your stand-up and pick the one if you're able to confirm some interesting fact and that you don't, especially you and I were slacking about the counter-protest. Both of us wanted to get that in. We want the other side of the story. And I asked her to confirm that there was nobody. She said, she told me that she didn't see any counter-protesters. And I said, how do you know that? We want to be fair. This was the most challenging thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you were able to actually talk to someone who was part of the counter-protests and who gave you more specifics, so you were able to nail that down, and that was really impressive.
Yeah,
but those were the challenges that she and I were talking about because we wanted to get both sides of the story. And you
so
got
now
that in the...
figure out, I'll probably go back out on Friday because it could be interesting because the counter-protesters say that they will be back there again on Friday. So to see if there's anything that happens, it is the last day of the protest. I don't know if it will still be relevant by Monday, but I think I'll probably go just in case something particularly interesting happens.
I would appreciate if you do that, because if something interesting happens, then on Monday you could advance the story. Are you an MMJ on Monday?
Yeah, I am.
Great. You could still, till the end of the week, keep asking UGA and USG, keep calling and asking for reaction. And so on Monday, you could still advance the story if they have responded to you, or if there has been any change. You never know.
Yeah. I feel like it's either going to, die on Friday once the protests are over, or hopefully we'll get something from the Board of Regents.
Yes.
And then that would be a story.
The question on Friday is, what did you achieve?
Yeah.
Did you achieve your goals?
Yeah.
You set out to demand a mask and vaccine mandate. What did you achieve? And if they didn't achieve anything, there was no response, no movement, what's your next step? That is the way you advance the story, see what you get, and then on Monday, if you're able to get, by Monday, reaction, then you have developed the story. What was achieved, you never know. Better to have this, and then you figure it out depending on what happens on Friday. So if you're able to go, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
And maybe you could put something on social media, work with Dr. Bright, so it won't be a loss either way. Yes, it won't be a loss either way.
Perfect.
Anybody else learned something? Emma, you want to share a little? Grab, one is not working, so if you want to grab hers. Yeah. Share, some tips with how you did this incredible video, which everything you were saying, you were showing. And before I forget, I want to mention that I noticed that some of you were talking about introducing a person in your soundbite, and we were seeing a street. So when you say so-and-so's, so-and-so is worried about something, 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 and then you play the soundbite, make sure that you either show that person or the place they work at, or ask them for pictures. You need to show the person. It's kind of odd to show a street when you're talking about a person. So that is really important. And if you have any workarounds doing that, you or Sam, I just thought that it would be nice to hear from you guys.
So with like the footage and B-roll, like you mentioned earlier, the different angles, with it being, the cool book vending machine, it was obviously really cool. So I literally just had Miriam Shook, the media center specialist, literally put in a coin so many times, and she was very patient with me and very nice. And I was like, I need to get this at every single angle, if you don't mind demonstrating for me like several times. So I literally stood there with her for like 10 minutes and just got it at like all around the machine, basically. And then another tip. So I was scheduled to meet with her and then the rest of the staff, the principal, at 3, but I left early and got there at 2:30, and just spent that time getting the building mugs of like the outdoors, and just wandering around the school, getting shots of the media center and the hallway and stuff.
Can
just
I
exploring it.
can I say something about staging things? Be very careful. You are not a cinematographer, so this kind of is borderline what you did. It was like you asked the person to demonstrate how this gadget works, and that is okay. But be very careful on staging things. You just have to take shots of the natural way people are acting, machines are acting, because otherwise you could be, you could be sort of fixing things to look in a way that you want them to look, and this is not something you should do as a journalist. Always have that in the back of your mind. Here I have to look again. This is borderline because you were actually showing, that was, the machine was, you wanted to show people how it works. But again, be very careful. Do not stage anything. Yes, you can set up your shot, to make somebody, the rule of thirds, and make your shot look good with somebody you're interviewing, but don't make them, ask them to walk in the door, take things in their natural way. Don't ask them to do things just for the camera, because that's not ethical, because it's not what reality is. So be very mindful of that. I don't think you did anything wrong, so don't worry about that, but always be very mindful of that. And you did a great job. Sam, do you want to
I
share
think
something?
that I would just emphasize what you said. You brought up a point of basically showing the person that is about to speak before they actually start their soundbite. So that was something that Professor Shumway taught, and the way he explained it, which I think is a really good way to remember it, is a handshake. So you kind of like let them go on camera first. And so a good way to do that is by observing them kind of in their natural habitat. So if they're in an office or if they're working or whatever they're doing, just kind of hang out a little bit after the interview and record them. So that way you can use that shot before their first soundbite. So I thought you mentioned that, and I just thought that was a good little piece of advice.
Yes, absolutely. That is a great way to do it when you are actually filming. But if you've done a Zoom interview or something, you don't have that. You probably need to think of doing that same thing with the person, even though they're on Zoom. Just kind of start recording as they're talking to you, maybe beforehand, or so that you have a little extra B-roll to show as you introduce them. That's not the best way. The best way is to go and what you were saying, just show us that person working, going around their day. But because of the pandemic, we've been doing so many Zoom interviews where the person, is in one particular place. You don't have an opportunity to show them. So that is a great idea. Or ask the person if they can send you a picture of them in their working environment or something. Or see on the website if they have an official picture. And you can always see if you can use that. But don't show a street. And I think it's almost time. We have 2 more minutes. Anybody else wants to add some thoughts? Yes, Savannah.
I think just as we all learned the technical things, I think it was just so nice. With the lower thirds and not being able to figure that out, I felt like I asked so many different people for help, and everyone was so open to help each other in the newsroom today throughout the whole day, which was really, really cool to see. It definitely felt like a team effort today. So I think we've got that down for sure. So that's nice.
Oh, that is such a wonderful way to end this very this wonderful day. It's our first live show, and I think everybody did great, and you're already working as a team, and this is your 3rd show together after 2 mock shows, And I'm really impressed with the teamwork, with the kindness you show each other, you know, helping each other out, giving each other ideas. We're going to